Now that the world is such a screwed up place that you're not even really supposed to leave your house unless it's basically on fire, it's definitely a better time than ever to jump on board with a bit of virtual reality. I mean, frankly, even a fictional world where the human race basically finds itself enslaved by aliens pretty much sounds like progress. Now, if you've been following my channel, you'll know that I'm already a big fan of the standalone Oculus Quest, but if you really want to experience next level VR gaming, you've got to get yourself a headset like the HTC VIVE Cosmos. This tethered set hooks up to your PC and offers incredible immersion with a full 6 degrees of freedom, perfect for enjoying new titles like Half Life Alyx. The only problem, of course, is that this kind of setup sure ain't cheap. So you've got the basic HTC VIVE Cosmos that comes with a headset, the controllers and the link box, everything you need to get into the good bit of VR gaming action. That'll cost you 700 quid, slightly eye-watering asking price. If you want the Elite version, which is what I've been testing out, it comes with 2 external tracking cameras as well. That's another 200 quid on top, so then you're talking the best part of £1,000. So anyway, I've basically spent the last week cowering from reality in all kinds of beautiful, gorgeous and also quite deadly virtual reality environments using the HTC VIVE Cosmos Elite, and here is my full review. And for more on the latest greatest tech, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! Now, first of all, if you want to get involved with VR gaming on your PC, you'll need a fairly hefty rig, although most gaming laptops these days can cope absolutely fine. So for instance, as long as you've got a minimum GeForce GTX 970 GPU, or if you use an AMD then a Radeon R9 290, you'll be absolutely fine. You'll also need to make sure that your gaming laptop or desktop has a DisplayPort connection in order to actually stream those visuals to the headset. Unfortunately, mine didn't, but luckily I managed to find a DisplayPort to USB Type-C cable, which did the job just fine because my USB-C Lightning port was actually connected directly to my GPU. Phew. Of course, this wee bugger cost me an extra 30 quid. 30 quid for a soldering cable. So those costs are really starting to ramp up now. To make the most of the VIVE Cosmos Elite, you'll definitely need a good sized room as well. The recommended dimensions are roughly 3 meters by 3 meters if you want to walk and really move about the place. If you don't have a room that big though, don't worry, you can still use the Cosmos, but you'll want to select the stand-in/sit-in option when you're setting it up. And of course, it goes without saying you'll want that to be an empty space as well, so you're not accidentally smacking your shins off tables or punching your TV to death when you're in the middle of a VR game. Now, as you'd probably imagine, there is a bit of setup involved with the HTC VIVE Cosmos, although thankfully the Vive software does walk you through it step by step. It's very simple and straightforward. The biggest ball ache in the whole thing is the first step, which involves setting up the cameras in this Elite version. You can mount them to the walls or whatever if they're going to be a permanent fixture, or if you're a bit lazy like me, just stick them up high somewhere. Shelves are good, as are precariously balanced boxes. Bear in mind that both of those tracking cameras need to be hooked up to the mains at all times though, so it can get a wee bit awkward if you don't have many power points in your designated room. Once that's done, the next step is to connect the headset to your gaming rig and get it all tracked with the cameras. This takes a couple of minutes and then you're basically done. Of course, if you later decide to shift the cameras around, or if you want to move to an entirely different room, then yes, you'll have to repeat the entire setup process from the beginning. So that's kind of a ball ache, and that's where something like the Oculus Quest definitely comes in handy because it's super flexible, super easy. You can shift to another room and within a minute or so, you're all set up and ready to go again. But I'd say as long as you've got the space and the power points available for those cameras, it's really not a complicated setup at all. Now, yes, I'm aware that the VIVE Cosmos headset looks absolutely freaking massive, like it would probably crush a few of your vertebrae if you played for more than 5 or 10 minutes, but it really is impressively light and incredibly well designed. I found that I could literally game for 2-3 hours at a time and had no discomfort whatsoever, and I also didn't suffer from any kind of motion sickness or anything like that. And absolutely no worries if you're a glasses wearer either. There's plenty of space inside that headset to accommodate them, so they're not getting crushed against your face. And I am 100% a massive fan of the flip style design as well, which means you can quickly lift and then replace the goggles whenever you need to. It's very handy if you need to quickly do something on your PC, load up a game, or deal with an error message or something like that, or if you've got some annoying family member who wants to have a conversation and interrupt your gaming session. You can hook up your own pair of headphones if you like, but I really like the VIVE Cosmos's built-in ear cups, which just nestle against your ears and pump in some powerful sound and audio. Again, this really helps to create a feeling of total immersion in whatever you're up to. Of course, the fact that you're actually tethered to your PC at all times isn't an ideal situation, especially when you're jumping about the place. Occasionally you can sort of trip over it a little bit, or a couple of times when playing the likes of Half Life Alyx, I basically twisted around too much and I've ended up with it wrapped around myself, but it's very rarely an intrusion. It's certainly nowhere near as bad as the PSVR cable, which is far too short. At least this thing is super long, so at least they stretch right the way across a decent sized room. And if you do find the tether really irritating, you've got the option of buying a WeGig wireless adapter to completely remove it from the situation. Unfortunately, that will add another 300 quid on top of the already steep asking price. I haven't tested it out, so I can't say whether it's actually any good or not. Now, one of the areas where the HTC VIVE Cosmos really sets itself apart from the competition is the excellent visuals. You get 2880 by 1700 pixel resolution. That's actually the combined resolution between the two eyes. So what you actually get is a 1440 by 1700 resolution per eye. And what that means is you get perfectly crisp visuals, incredible immersion in all of your titles. The likes of Half Life Alyx look absolutely stunning, definitely photorealistic at times. So it's definitely a step up from the likes of the Oculus Quest, where everything can look a bit more blocky, grainy, or just generally cartoony. The only issue is that those screens don't completely fill your vision, so it does still feel like you're viewing everything through a headset rather than in a completely filter-free environment. But after a while, your brain kind of adapts and you get used to that setup, and then it's kind of lost in the immersion anyway. And when it comes to the controllers, weirdly, this HTC VIVE Cosmos Elite version comes with the original VIVE controllers instead of the compact new Cosmos ones that you get bundled with the standard version, which confused the hell out of me. So these are the controllers you get with the HTC VIVE Cosmos Elite, and these are the standard HTC VIVE Cosmos controllers. They've definitely both got a good heft to them, so if you're wielding a gun in a game or something like that, it will actually feel like you are clutching a weapon. Unfortunately, the original VIVE controllers don't have as many buttons as the new Cosmos ones, so you'll find that they're not compatible with all titles. One advantage of the controllers you get bundled with the HTC VIVE Cosmos Elite is the fact that they actually have a built-in rechargeable battery rather than taking separate AA batteries. Although unfortunately you will have to use micro USB to recharge them rather than Type-C. Ugh. The only other problem I had with these controllers was the buttons that are built into the grip. So basically when you're holding them, you can give them a quick squeeze and that'll, for instance, open up the options menu in Half Life Alyx. Well, unfortunately, of course, when you've got a head crab leaping at your face or something, your reaction is to squeeze, and therefore I found myself constantly mid-battle opening up the bloody settings, and then of course I'd be like, oh crap, okay, got to resume game. Oh no, I'm dead. Of course, if you just try not to squeeze the controllers in a mad panic every time something attacks you, you'll be absolutely fine. Now, as you kind of hope and expect, I found that the motion tracking with the HTC VIVE Cosmos Elite was basically close to perfect. Even though I had quite a small space to work with, it still worked absolutely fine as long as the cameras were kept at least head height and I didn't stray from their field of vision. Combined with the hand tracking cameras built into the headset, it's definitely a great setup. A whole week of gaming, there was only one moment I can remember where my right hand suddenly started to disconcertingly drift across the room away from my body, like it was basically rebelling from being a part of me altogether. But of course, a great VR headset is only as great as the actual selection of games. And the Viveport online store now has almost 1,500 titles to get stuck into, although that number does cheekily include DLC packs, so it's not actually quite that many. The quality is a bit all over the place, as you might expect. For every Moss or Superhot, there is definitely a Luwar VR, or, well, whatever the hell this thing is supposed to be. In fact, there's usually at least 3 or 4 pieces of blazing garbage for every semi-decent title, so you'll definitely have to sift through a fair bit of excrement to find those golden nuggets. Or, of course, just go onto Steam, where you'll find loads more great VR games which all of the main PC VR headsets can access. If you're getting started with VR, you don't really know where to begin, well, don't worry, you can sign up for a Vive Infinity subscription. This basically gives you access to just over half of that online catalogue, which you can then download and play to your heart's content for no extra cost. The monthly price is usually £9, but at the time I shot this video, it was half price as part of a lockdown special. And the good news is, if you buy yourself an HTC VIVE Cosmos Elite, you get a 6-month subscription thrown in as well, so you can dive in and try out lots of different things at no extra cost. Although I did find that some of my favourites on the Vive store, such as Moss and Superhot, were not part of the Infinity subscription. Boo. So that right there, in a nutshell, is the HTC VIVE Cosmos Elite. I'd say if you've got the space and the money and you're dead set on playing the most demanding VR titles out there like Half Life Alyx, then basically go for it. But for everyone else, there's definitely still the Oculus Quest, which is more affordable. It's a lot easier to use, to set up and everything. It's a standalone device. You don't need a hot PC in order to actually play the games or everything. And while the games catalog isn't as strong, it's definitely getting there slowly but surely. So if you're a VR fan, definitely let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, whether you've been using the HTC Vive or the Oculus Quest or whatever. It'd be great to hear your thoughts. Please do subscribe, ding that notifications bell, and have yourselves a lovely week, people. Cheers everyone. Love you.